Power Pack History. This is your guide on the side, Mr. Mahlum, Professor Mahlum, coming straight to you out of Hillsboro, Oregon. All right, today we're talking about World War I. Let's hit U.S. involvement prior to World War I. Now, here's the thing, folks at home. The United States made a boatload of money off of World War I. It was a financial boondoggle of biblical proportions. Now, in the beginning, neutrality is what Wilson wanted. He wanted us to be neutral and to stay completely out of the war, but he never really stopped businesses from trading. So American businesses and manufacturers decided, you know what, this is great for business. Let's trade with the British, let's trade with the Germans. Here's the problem that occurs early on. All of the vessels that were going to trade with the Germans had to go through British blockades. The vast majority of American vessels on their way to Germany actually got stopped and in many instances commandeered by the British. They would then be sent into British ports. The Brits would look over the goods and say, hey, blimey, we'll take those ourselves. And so what they would actually do is they would pay for the goods that were supposed to be going to Germany. Now, the American captains, they'd be a little bit upset. You know, here we have this agreement, but they're still getting paid. So as a result, what you saw was that there was this movement more and more for the American businesses just lock stop to trade with Great Britain as opposed to Germany. So by 1915, Great Britain was starting to run out of money. Okay, their coffers were low, the war was expensive, so they went in and they started asking for these major loans from U.S. financiers who were more than excited to give loans to Great Britain at good interest rates. Plus, if they gave the loans to Great Britain could still continue to buy American supplies. So they went to President Wilson and they asked him, and at this point by 1915, President Wilson and his staff were clearly pro-British. So there was an argument made to President Wilson by Treasury Secretary William McAdoo, and here's what he said. Great Britain is and always has been our best customer. The purchase of war munitions have stimulated industry and set factories to full capacity. Great prosperity is coming. It will be tremendously increased if we can extend reasonable credits to our customers. The bankers, financiers were given the go-ahead. They gave tons and tons of loans to the British. The British then turned around with those loans, bought American munitions, and voila, we had this little bilateral trade that was going on that was huge throughout the war. Wasn't the only reason why we were joining the British. There was also a widespread belief in the common destiny of the Anglo people, with American and Britain leading the way. This was very common. Social Darwinism and this idea of eugenics ruled the day at the time. So that kind of sets up the relationship prior to the war between the British and the Americans.
Thank you for watching this episode of Power Packed History, and stay tuned for the second part in the World War I series.